To the Occupy Democrat Show, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mark Bland.
And I am Jason Cole.
And we are happy people.
I am happy.
We are extremely happy people because...
Happier today.
You thought that maybe Elon and Donald Trump were friends. Maybe.
I thought they were so tight.
And I thought that they were friends. Maybe.
Turns out.
And it turns out we were all wrong, ladies and gentlemen. They are not friends at all. And, well,
It's that transactional part.
It is
of Donald Trump.
The transactional
on display
aspect of Donald Trump. If you could be so bold as to, well, let me preface it like this, ladies and gentlemen. In a dramatic fallout, President Donald Trump and billionaire Elon Musk have turned their once close alliance into a public feud. That's right. Trump threatened to cut government contracts with Musk companies, including SpaceX, after Musk criticized Trump's tax cuts and spending bill, warning it could balloon the $36.2 trillion national debt. Musk retaliated on X, suggesting that Trump should be impeached and claiming he was pivotal to Trump's 2024 election win. The clash led to a 14.3% drop in Tesla shares, wiping out $150 billion in market value. Musk briefly threatened to decommission SpaceX's Dragon spacecraft, but later backed down. The feud, fueled by both men's combative social media presence, highlights tensions within the Republican Party over Trump's bill, the big beautiful bill, that's right, which could add trillions to the deficit, as our friend Elon has already alluded to. This rift could complicate the Republican efforts to maintain congressional control in the upcoming midterms, Jason, as Musk's influence and financial support wane. Now,
good switch.
Donald Trump did this.
Yeah.
Donald Trump threw this out there after he felt jilted by the fact that Elon Musk said that there was a big, beautiful bill, but it wasn't big and beautiful at the same time.
Yeah, he called it an abomination.
Called it an abomination. Now, that's fine, except for Trump still hasn't gotten it passed.
That's true.
This has led Donald Trump to retaliate himself. Now, once this all fell out, ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump was asked about this. And if you could play that first clip of Donald Trump talking, we would love to show America what his thoughts were.
He never had a problem until right after he left. And if you saw the statements he made about me, which I'm sure you can get very easily, it's very fresh on tape. He said the most beautiful things about me. And he hasn't said bad about me personally, but I'm sure that'll be next. But I'm very disappointed in Elon. I've helped Elon a lot. A lot of good things are happening in this room. And I'll tell you, he's not the first. People leave my administration and they love us. And then at some point they miss it so badly. And some of them embrace it and some of them actually become hostile. I don't know what it is. It's sort of Trump derangement syndrome, I guess they call it. But we have it with others too. They leave and they wake up in the morning and the glamour's gone. The whole world is different and they become hostile. I don't know what it is. Someday you'll write a book about it. You'll let us know. I never had a problem until...
There you go.
You know what?
Well, before we go...
This is a perfect example.
Pimp juice is what our boy Don needs.
Does he need some
He needs some energy drink, something.
This is a perfect example of either Trump has not seen what Musk wrote about him on Twitter yet,
Sure.
or this is a perfect example of answering the question that you want asked. Because saying that Musk has never said anything bad about him, I would say that saying that you were on Epstein Island and part of the Epstein file, that's pretty bad.
Now, mind you, of course, those comments probably come as things are unfolding online behind the scenes that he's not watching at the time.
That was a pretty early tweet that he put out, though.
But let's really put this into perspective for everybody. Elon Musk bought his way into this presidency of 2024. $250 million worth of campaign funds put into Donald Trump's coffers. Not a meme coin. No. Just a straight check directly sent to him. And in exchange for that, he was told he would get things. And he was allowed to get things. He was allowed to get into the FAA and shut down this investigation towards him and get into the TSA. And then when it came to doing the Doge stuff, that allows me to get into other places. Ladies and gentlemen, he was setting up for that network state stuff I talked about a few days ago. That's what he was doing. And that's why there's kind of this huge falling out. It's like, all right, I've given you a bunch of money. I've done everything that you've asked on your end. I'm leaving Doge like I did my 120 days or whatever it was. Now I'm leaving. And you just decided to take everything that I did in that bill, that spending bill, and just cap it right off the table. No questions asked. Just threw it by the wayside and just still tried to push your big, beautiful bill. Unfortunately, none of that is falling out properly for Elon Musk. There are things into that Elon Musk thinks that he needs and deserves. And just like Omarosa or anybody else that worked with Donald Trump, you're right, Trump, they are going to write a book. Yeah. They sure are. Somehow. And they must all have Trump derangement syndrome. Yeah. And now Elon's got it too. And so did Mike Waltz. And so does this person. And so does everybody's got Trump derangement syndrome. By the way, a fake syndrome for a fake person that lies and makes up fake stuff. Yeah. Constantly, right? Even your mental illnesses are fake, Jason. Well, everything about Trump is fake.
Most people don't like people like Donald Trump. So to say it's Trump derangement syndrome, it's just bad guy syndrome. Like, we don't like bad people in this country.
That's right. People just don't like bad people.
It's not a syndrome. It's not derangement. We just don't like you.
Right. And you could say, oh, I guess Elon derangement syndrome or this. All these derangement syndromes, they don't exist. They're just fake. They're just fake like all the things that you just said about Elon, not saying mean things about you. But I'm glad you brought that up. Mm-hmm. You brought up the Epstein thing.
Yes.
Do you have the tweet over there from Elon Musk about Epstein Island? I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, go ahead and put the one out that he put up yesterday.
Nope, not that one. That's Peter Schiff. There should be one. There might even be a Truth Social post from Donald Trump.
Throw big old bomb.
That's on my next news story, actually. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. We were compiling but there's a lot to talk about with the Elon Musk, Donald Trump falling out. I'm sorry. There is a ton to talk about. Right now, I'm not going to lie, Jay. If Trump sent ICE to arrest and deport Donald or Elon Musk right now, I would laugh at that. That would be
something
super concerning to me. But at the same point, it would be hilarious if that's something that happened. All right. So on the screen right now, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, we have the tweet from Elon Musk. Time to drop the really big bomb, Jay. Mm-hmm. Real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT. All right. Well, when you kind of throw that out there, everybody kind of knows exactly where this stands. You are not mixing your words, as they like to say. You are simply throwing out there that Donald Trump is a pedophile.
Well, he went personal, like immediately. That was like the first thing he put out.
Right. You're saying that Donald Trump is a pedophile.
Right? Like all the other stuff was after, like all the stuff about the deficit,
sure,
and all that.
Yeah,
that came later.
Right.
That was the first one.
Right off the top, he just drops the big bomb and says, "You're a pedophile." And that you hung out with Epstein on Epstein's Island and you're in the Epstein files. And by the way, us here at Occupy Democrats totally believe Elon Musk.
Yeah, well, that's something everyone thought anyway. It's not like Elon was like pulling the veil back and was like, hey, look, I have inside information. He may, I doubt it, but he's just saying what we kind of thought. Of course he's in those files. He has to be.
Everything.
He's in some of the court cases.
Everything that Elon Musk believes negative about Donald Trump has already been said online. Sure. Where do you think Elon gets it from, guys? Do you think Elon is so busy he never gets on his X account? Never scrolls through his Twitter? Stop it. That's all these dudes have done for the last 10 solid years of their life is scrolled on Twitter. Even when Jack owned it, they were scrolling on Twitter. This is all they do. Let me get this camera over here. There is literally nothing that happens in politics that Republicans don't see every single story that happens. Pam Bondi, she sees every negative thing said about her to and from that goes on to X and every other social media. All of them do. There is no one that's not seeing any of these things. All of you out there are aware of all of the things going on. You watch politics. You discuss politics with your friends. You're just like me and Jay. You love politics. This was a cash grab by Donald Trump. Simple as that. He got what he wanted out of it, and then he decided to kick somebody to the curb. That's fine. Donald Trump, we're used to you doing this. But once again, now you've picked a battle with somebody who has as much money as you.
Oh, way more.
And probably understands how this whole world works in social media way better than the majority of your team.
Well, he has a far better reach. Trump's Truth Social, I don't think Trump has 10 million followers on his Truth Social.
Isn't that
Musk
funny?
has like 200 million.
Two billionaires who both own social media sites, using them to just argue with each other about stuff. Like, you and me use it to gather some information so that we know what we're talking about.
Right.
They have each other's cell phone numbers. But I'm sure Trump doesn't text or talk to people with his cell phone at all. I think it's all literally someone tells him things.
This is a perfect example.
He's aged. He's old.
Well,
this is an argument between Elon and his mom. Elon is 30 years younger than him. This is the dude that is... Elon Musk was raised like Barron. His mom and dad were rich. Lots of money. Diamond mines. Blood diamonds. He was raised like Barron. He had lots of money. He didn't have to worry about anything. He could go do whatever he wanted in South Africa or Texas or California whenever he wanted. He didn't have to worry about working a job to get license money or car insurance money. No. Donald Trump, though, is like Elon's mom and dad. You see, he's the same age as them. He would have been at those parties with them and hanging out in the 70s and the early 80s with them and kicking it. Do you understand? These are two different people from two completely different generations, Gen X and the Boomer generation. They don't see eye to eye, Jay.
Well, these two fighting on social media is exactly what we talked about Trump. He's a social media president. He's about the viral moment. He lives his life on social media. So the fact that they, like you said, they have each other's cell phone numbers, that's not what they want. Elon Musk is the same way. He likes viralness. He likes social media and putting out the jabs. And Trump likes it too. But I think Trump might have bitten off more than he can chew with Elon Musk.
I will say this, Occupy Democrats. We've got quite the team who works for the organization across the world. And I will say this. I popped hard. All right. Cheap pop. It was a cheap pop. Like in pro wrestling, it was a cheap pop. But I popped hard, which means I laughed out loud. I popped hard for us putting up the thing that said it's Pride Month and this is the gayest thing they've seen as far as a breakup goes. Like these two dudes fighting is the gayest thing in Pride Month. That's hilarious. I'm sorry. That's funny. That's funny to me because we are in Pride Month. They are breaking up. It is two men and it is the gayest thing that we have seen at Occupy Democrats in quite a long time. I'll be one of the first people to say that.
Well, it's not surprising. I mean, it's obvious it was going to happen. We saw it coming.
You and me have talked about this for
Knew it was gonna happen.
months and months. In fact, the show that we did on our other show, right after the presidential election, we even brought up the fact that this might not last all that long. This is one of those things where he might get in and get out. Well, we seem to kind of have nailed that a little bit. Maybe not get out as fast as we thought, but still, like
either one of them can't share. Remember during the election, it was during I think the second debate.
Yeah,
and Trump was talking about JD Vance and how good he was, and then he had to like shoot him down at the end because he can't. Nobody can be higher than Trump. You can't get more accolades than Trump because he'll push you down.
Oh, of course.
Even his own VP, he did that too. So Elon Musk getting all the popularity, it was just a ticking time bomb waiting for Trump to get him out.
I'm going to go on record and say that I feel the first time that this really reared its ugly head, in my opinion, and you could see it from the way that Donald Trump sat at his desk and he looked at the situation and he was just unhappy. Now, we saw more press conferences with him and Elon Musk sitting in the Oval Office, or Elon standing and him sitting at the desk after the fact, Jay. But that first time they had the press conference and he had X on his shoulders, the kid.
Yeah.
And then they were throwing more of the conversational discussions at him. But then the day right after it, they went and did that. Was it Brett Baier or whatever? They sat down with Brick Hume or whoever it was.
Yeah,
it was Brett Baier. Whoever. They had the one-on-one conversation that was supposed to be Trump and him. And then all of a sudden, Elon was sitting next to him. And we didn't understand it. And he kept getting the questions. That right there was independent news media that is popular in America. Oh, this is Fox News. This just isn't some stupid podcast. This is the Fox News that I have been going on for the last 10 years through my first administration, now this administration, all 4 years of me complaining about a rigged election that they rigged but then weren't able to rig the second time.
It's lost
count. We're just bad. Liberals are just bad.
Bad at rigging
stuff. Just bad at rigging things. That's it. We're just horrible at rigging things. Okay. And so that Chicago, think about it. Chicago, Cubs, he's got the hat on right there. Right. How long did it take him to win the World Series? They weren't able to rig it. They weren't good. It's a blue city, guys. They couldn't rig it. It took them 100 years to rig one game to win their World Series, and then they couldn't do it again. See how that works? That's just how liberals are, you know? They just can't pull it off. But that moment when he sat there at that desk and he shut him down like that, Jason, that in Donald Trump's mind was, you've stepped over my line. This is my line where I'm the king. I look the best on TV. Yeah. You're not going to take that away from me. Go play around on your X thing.
This band can only have two, or only one lead singer.
That's right, guys. It's too many big dogs on the thing. Now, Elon has talked about possibly starting a party.
Yeah, for the 80% in the middle, he said.
What do you think he's going to call it, Jay?
I'm sure he'll call it X.
You think he'll call it the X Party?
Or some fashion or another.
He's going to call it the X Party.
He's totally going to call it the X Party.
He's going to call it the X Party because that's what Donald Trump would do, right? He would take something, the gold, and it's got to be the gold. Everything's got to be gold.
Everything's gold with Trump. Everything's X and black.
Everything has to be X and black, and it's going to be stupid. And everybody's. And by the way, you might have enough money to pull it off, but Elon, you already lost the moderates. You lost us when you bought Twitter. You kicked all the people with their blue verified check marks off there. Yeah. You pretended like people who were important and successful in America weren't important and successful in America, that everybody should just pay. And you just wanted money is all it was. You didn't have any real validation or verification for it on the backside, merit.
He just realized he overpaid for something and he needed to get that back.
Right, he wanted that money. He still hasn't gotten it back. Now he's losing money on Tesla. Literally, he had a falling out with Trump and dropped $150 billion more in value, or $150 million or whatever it was.
Share. He lost.
That's a lot.
$34 or $38 billion yesterday. That's crazy. And he's still the richest man in the world.
I don't know, America. What I can tell you is this. Right now, a guy that you let rifle through your Medicaid and Social Security is no longer there. He is throwing this man that everyone has said was on Epstein Island and a pedophile for years under the bus. And if I could be so bold for one moment to ask you a question, Elon, if you knew that Donald Trump was on the Epstein file list, why would you continue to work with him? Why would you continue to sit there and promote him? Why would you put money into his coffers so he could become president of the United States and lie to all of you Republicans out there. All of you that sat there, you listen to, I love Elon. He's not in the Epstein file. That's Joe Biden. That's the tan suit guy. That's everybody but my favorite person. Now, your other favorite person just said, yep, your favorite person, he's in the Epstein file for sure. That's why they won't release it. You came up with every excuse at the water cooler the other day at lunch for why the Epstein files weren't released. Now Elon just made you look stupid. But Elon, that doesn't stop us from trying to figure out if you lied to all of them about the pedophilia stuff with Donald Trump, and you lied to me and Jason and Metro and everybody else in America about it, you were complicit. Pedophilia is illegal in the United States of America.
It is.
That is a criminal act. Foreign person from a foreign country that we really want the brightest and the best from, and we're willing to give anyone that opportunity. I wonder if they have any really, really, really rich people from South Africa they should give opportunities to out of the complete blue. By the way, Jay, how many contracts do you think that our friend Elon Musk still has currently with this Trump administration and what's moving forward over the next few years in Project 2025?
I'm sure between all of his companies, dozens.
What about the Golden Dome stuff alone?
Right? That hasn't even begun yet. He's got all the other stuff.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is nuts. By the way, on the backside of all of this, Jay, is there anything else you want to add on to this Elon Musk stuff with this man?
Well, we can find out how we got to this point.
We could.
Depending on how much time we have.
Yeah, go ahead. Why don't you throw down for about 5 minutes?
So we know yesterday he put out the tweet.
Yeah.
And we put that up earlier. But the falling out between Trump and Elon Musk, it unfolded rapidly, almost in one day.
Yeah.
Seemed like that, though. Driven by disagreements over policy and personal egos, but it did not happen in one day.
Oh, no.
This has been going on for almost 8 months, direct involvement by Eli. So early in 2024, Musk shifted his support. That's his tweet from the other day.
There. That's the tweet.
That's
the bomb
it.
tweet. Yeah, the big bomb. He's blowing everybody
bomb
up. Yeah, he dropped that Epstein bomb, baby.
So he started to endorse him almost immediately after the assassination attempt, July 13th. Remember that one?
Yep.
Yeah. So that's when he sort of began. So he spends heavily on Trump's campaign, contributing $238.5 million to America's PAC. And that also includes $1 million each day, those payments to swing state voters that they allowed to happen. So he appears at Trump's rally in Pennsylvania on October 5th, embracing Dark MAGA. Do we have that Dark MAGA video? Everyone remembers this.
Dark MAGA. I remember Dark MAGA.
Yeah, it comes out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Ketamine.
I'm not just MAGA.
And
I'm dark, gothic MAGA.
there he is.
Oh.
Look at that. He's so great.
Well, it's
Look at them all
The
cheering.
energy in
Look
this
at all
room
the
is
people
incredible.
who think that Donald Trump's
All
not in
double
the
spending,
Epstein
it's
file
actually-
behind him.
So
Look at all
whether
their
it's
signs
direct
and all that.
taxation
They
or
love the Dark
double spending,
MAGA.
it's either becomes
All right, drop
inflation
Dark
or-
MAGA out of there. He's not going to say anything. So Trump wins. Musk spends election night with Trump at Mar-a-Lago, and he is appointed to lead the Department of Government Efficiency.
Oh, can I
Doge.
add one piece in
Yes.
here? Right here.
Yes.
Right? This is election night.
Put it in
We
there.
are with him at Mar-a-Lago on election night.
Yep.
And if I could be so bold, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, that little thing popped here. I don't know if that just unconnected my mic. It might have. I don't know. Here's the deal. On that night, Joe Rogan on a podcast just a couple days later said that he had been talking to Elon Musk the night of the election.
He did.
And that Elon Musk said to him that he had already known what was going on. Because I guess Joe was also either at Mar-a-Lago or in contact with them at
Something like
Mar-a-Lago,
that.
something like that. Hours, like 4 hours before it, Elon explained to Joe Rogan, I already know that we won. And then he just didn't care.
Yep.
That was it. Like Joe Rogan told people that on his podcast 2 days later, was like, I talked to Elon the day of the election. And like 4 hours before it was over with, he said he didn't care. Okay.
Yeah.
Continue on.
So he gets
Okay.
the appointment of that along with Vivek Ramaswamy.
Yep.
Although he didn't. That
was Doge. Yeah, that was
he
the
only
horrible
he only
government
lasted
efficiency.
a few Scaramucci's because Vivek was gone pretty quick.
Scaramucci.
That's an 11-day term. That's
That's an old term. That's an old term, but that's okay. It's a
the
good one.
relationship appears strong during this point, with Musk gaining unprecedented influence within the administration.
A lot.
From January to March, Musk's Doge's role makes him a central figure in Trump's administration. He attends cabinet meetings. I think we have a video of one of the cabinet meetings he's at, taking some questions.
Oh, yeah.
It's another thing that might have burned Trump's ass a little bit. Everyone praising Elon during this. I think it's labeled like Elon cabinet meeting or Trump cabinet meeting.
Elon, let the cabinet speak just for a second. Is anybody unhappy with Elon? If you are, we'll throw him out of here. Is anybody unhappy?
I was ready to perform with that. But there they are, giving him a nice round of applause, right? I'm sure Trump loves that.
But everybody else seems stuffy in the room. Like they all have suits and ties on. They're all like professional politicians. They're not awkward and weird and unique. And that might be something that
some of that. So he's attending cabinet meetings. He's traveling on Air Force One. He's praised by Trump, calls him a patriot, showcases Teslas on the White House lawn. You have that clip where Trump buys a Tesla from Elon Musk, a sitting president, and then tells everyone else to do it.
Oh, there he is selling them, boys.
Right? Perfectly legal. Nothing wrong with this whatsoever. Completely ethical.
God, the minute he drove it off the White House lawn, it lost 30% of its value right off the bat. Like, that's crazy how that used car lot works over there.
And I'm going to buy because, number one, it's a great product, as good as it gets. And number two, because this man has devoted his energy and his life to doing this. And I think he's been treated very unfairly by a very small group of people.
This is bulletproof.
Yeah, it's bulletproof. That is not bulletproof.
Wait a second.
We have proven that.
Wait a second. He's been treated unfairly by a group of people, like a small group of people. Maybe Elon Musk was treated bad by Donald Trump and his small group of people around him.
Small group of people, also known as my cabinet.
By the way, me and Jason, we are not taking Elon Musk's side and we are not taking Donald Trump's side in this.
There's no sides here.
These are no good people on both sides. Like, they're not doing good things.
This is like watching two snakes fight.
Right.
We don't care how this
One
ends.
should retire and go back to Mar-a-Lago. The other one should sell cars down in Texas. That's it. That's all we think.
So tensions do start to emerge with Musk's aggressive cost-cutting, including layoffs, program slashes. That draws backlash from some Republicans and cabinet members who start to complain about his overreach and lack of communication. Musk even celebrated Trump's victory. Obviously, we all know about that by throwing his heart out to supporters. He did that on the inauguration night. So it's during this time from March to April.
How many times?
He did it twice.
Twice.
He did it twice. The exact same way.
Wait. Was it in different locations? Did he go to different places to do it?
No, I guess if you count turning around.
No. I'm talking about different buildings. Literally different locations.
Right,
or did he go into catering behind the scenes and do it or something?
No, he was out for everyone.
Oh, it was on stage?
Oh, yeah.
And then it was like he did the first one and turned around and
one.
did it right after that again.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
So
Continue on.
March to April, cracks start to widen with Trump inside his administration with Musk. Trump reportedly growing frustrated with Musk's omnipresence, always being around.
Yeah.
And his media attention, like we talked to before. Musk clashes with White House officials, including this guy, Sergio Gore. I didn't know who he was. I had to look him up. He's the director of White House presidential personnel. He's the one who brings in new hires and vets any appointments or anything like that. That's what this guy does. So they had a clash because of the rejection of Starlink for air traffic control and the withdrawal of Jared Isaacman's NASA nomination. Jared Isaacman's one of Trump's buddies.
Oh, yeah.
One of his guys. And they withdrew that. That makes Musk mad. So
that also might make Trump mad. His buddies come from behind the scenes going, dude, I just lost my full-time job because your boy came through and slapped it around. Like, I don't.
And he perceived that as a slight. Musk did. Trump, though, tells his inner circle in early April, and I remember seeing this on the news.
This is early April of this year.
Will step back soon, signaling a cooling relationship between them.
Now, we talked about on this show, Jason, that when it came right down to it, and we got to that 120-day mark, it was Susie Wiles who had pretty much kind of put the kibosh out there on a lot of these different players around Trump. I don't know if she specifically was the kibosh on Elon specifically, but evidently that day, him and Scott Bessent, the Department of Treasury, the Secretary of Treasury.
He doesn't seem like someone that punches very often.
He doesn't seem like someone, but supposedly the story goes that's where Elon Musk got the black eye from, Jay.
It makes more sense than a 5-year-old did.
It does. It makes a lot more sense.
Beginning this month, this is when Musk's 130-day tenure as a special government employee is nearing its end. Because on May 28th, he confirmed his exit from Doge, citing frustration with the federal bureaucracy and disappointment with Trump's tax and spending bill, which he believes undermines Doge's cost-cutting efforts. Musk begins distancing himself publicly, focusing on his businesses and criticizing the bill on CBS News. His departure is unceremonious with no formal conversation with Trump.
Well, as he said, it is big,
right?
But it ain't beautiful.
And it's an abomination.
So these guys are now gloves off, throwing at each other for everything it's worth.
Yes.
Now, as of today, so far, there hasn't been a lot of back and forth.
No, I mean, well, other than the
Today.
Epstein, but go ahead and play this. Play the Epstein video. This is interesting because everyone knows this exists. So maybe Musk saw this video a year or so back. There's that guy he doesn't know very well at all. They seem to be pretty friendly. And for those that don't know, they're watching I think it's a group of pageant contestants.
By the way,
dance.
those are men in their
Cheerleaders.
40s and 50s right there. It's 1992, and that's Donald Trump in his 40s and 50s.
Yeah, he's an older
He's
man.
80 years old almost right now.
Yeah,
So,
he will turn
guys,
79 later this
He's
month.
in his 40s or 50s right there. Do you understand that the people that you think, like the Scott Bessents that we're talking about, Elon Musk is 50 years old right now.
Yes.
That would be, that video right there that you just saw with him and Jeffrey Epstein would be the equivalent of if Elon went and made a video today at this age with Epstein. Now, Epstein's also younger in that video by 30 or 40 years.
Yes.
They're all the same age. I would also point out this. Just because a video exists of somebody once or twice long time ago, that doesn't mean that they were necessarily involved in the things that somebody else is being accused of. Now, when I say that, that applies to most situations. Not everybody is constantly involved in these things. But every time they bring it up to Trump, he wants to poo-poo it away. Every time they try to talk to him about the Epstein files.
Yes.
It's always everything else is a yes, yes, yes. And then I got to talk about 5 minutes on this one specifically because it bothers me.
You know what I do find interesting about this Epstein Trump stuff?
It's just so obvious.
Is though you watch a video like that where they're together and dancing, and then you see pictures all the time that MAGA like to put out of Oprah Winfrey standing next to Harvey Weinstein and other Hollywood types. So how is it that all those Hollywood types, they all knew because MAGA says they knew and didn't do anything, but yet Trump doesn't know? Trump doesn't know what Epstein did, and everyone's okay with that. Everyone's like, oh, yeah, that makes perfect sense. I think it's very possible that they didn't know what Weinstein did, and maybe Trump didn't know what Epstein did, but to claim one is one way and one is the other, it's a shady way to be.
Cliches, Jay.
Yes.
You know what the word means.
I do.
And you've heard of many of them in life.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them that's very popular that we've all heard for centuries, I would say, at this point. I don't know, honestly, how far it goes back. You guys can search up on Wikipedia or the internet and find out, and hit me up at Mark Bland on Twitter and let me know exactly, let me know exactly where this comes from. But birds of a feather flock together.
Yes, they do.
And those types of cliches come from things kind of working that way in life. Those things kind of working themselves out that way. Obviously, in this case, they flocked together.
They do.
So they must both have evil intentions and do dirty things behind the scenes that are problematic. They both had criminal histories.
Yeah.
They both had tons and tons of court cases. And by the way, just so that you all understand, how many of you out there watching right now to this video, or seeing it down the road when you're watching it in a replay or some clip on Instagram or something, how many of you have court cases against you right now in your life? Think about how old you are. Jason, how old are you?
51.
How many court cases have you been involved with that were legitimate court cases? Somebody came to sue you in your life. Sue you.
0.
I've had no one ever sue me. That doesn't mean I'm asking for it. That doesn't mean Jason's asking for it. That doesn't mean, hey, this is the... Nope, no. Most people who just live their lives and don't do anything stupid don't have problems.
Yes.
They're just not doing it. Now, rich people have money. They're going to get around other rich people. That could lead to opportunities that could present problems. Got it? Brain in your head. You control it.
Yep.
You can make decisions. Jason's, when he's sitting by himself, he can make a decision to be good or bad. He can make a decision before he comes on the show to say good things about Elon or bad things about Elon, good things about Trump, bad things about Trump. But what he chooses to do is read our news stories based off of all of our information that we have over the years and our experience, and then come tell you where we feel the lay of the land is currently.
Well,
That's it.
It's just the transactional nature of these two. You see it in their personal lives. Like Donald Trump has 5 kids with 3 different women.
Yep.
Elon Musk has like 40 kids with like 7 different women or whatever. He literally has like 8 to 10 kids.
Yeah.
But he has it with multiple different people because there's nothing there. He has no real relationships. Everything is transactional. What I can give you, what you can give me. And until you're not giving, I'm not going to give. And if I'm not getting, I'm not going to get. So that's what happens. And that's what's happened here. I guarantee Donald Trump told Elon Musk that he was going to keep all of those things in that bill. He didn't because he doesn't care. He doesn't need Elon anymore.
For a man that's supposed to have better character and better things, he is one of the dumbest human beings I've ever seen. And he gets dumber by the day live on TV right in front of us, like every single day.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest with all of you out there. I feel like that Donald Trump is just a waste.
Yeah. Well, he never seems to know anything. Like, again,
you're so dumb. And you, not only do you not know things, you don't even try to, I think Mark Cuban had said this, you don't even try to go out of your way to learn things.
That is true.
You don't even try to learn new things at all. But now, at that age, most people, they're in retirement. Yeah. They're relaxing. They're not doing politics all day long. They're not dealing with any of these things. I'm not going to sit here and sell Donald Trump short or any president of the United States in the past. It is a difficult job.
Sure.
It's going to take people that have a lot of wherewithal to pull it off. You have to have a certain makeup as a person, and it requires a certain character, obviously, that is missing in this administration, but it's a tough job. Yeah. Well, and I'm not going to lie and say that Donald Trump doesn't have a tough job.
That's a breeze for him. It's
he's not doing anything. It's a tough job if you do it.
When you do it. When you have executive time until 11:30 in the morning and you don't go anywhere and you don't do anything of importance but play golf, then it's an easy job. You know, Donald Trump is the only president in my lifetime where we looked older when he got out of office instead of the other way around.
Exactly.
George Bush looked older.
What
Barack
that
Obama
man just said.
Looked older. We looked older in 2020.
Yep.
We looked disheveled and tired.
We sure did. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break here on the Occupy Democrats show. When we come back, more about this Donald Trump and Elon Musk breakup. Plus, we've got some stuff with Dr. Oz. You've got to see some of this. This is kind of crazy. Plus, there's a guy named Peter Schiff out there running around talking about pedophilia in the weirdest way, and we've got to talk about this. This is nuts. Yes. We'll be back on Occupy Democrats after this. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Occupy Democrats show. And we are discussing the fallout with Elon Musk and our friend Donald Trump and everything that's going on in the world here. And I'm just hanging out with all of you and loving it, loving every minute of it. Now, with that being stated, J.D. Vance, we haven't talked much about J.D. in this situation.
He's keeping quiet.
J.D.'s been relatively quiet.
Yes.
He did put out a tweet. I'm going to put that up on the screen right now for everybody to see. Take a look at this tweet from J.D. Vance. It says, President Trump has done more than any person in my lifetime to earn the trust of the movement he leads. I'm proud to stand beside him. Now,
wow,
that does not say I am in Donald Trump's corner. It says, I'm proud. He leads the movement. He deserves the lead.
You know, though, he could say that he's done more to earn the trust by lying constantly.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't say how he earned that. He just says he's done more than any president.
Right. And the problem with this is that J.D. Vance, as we explained earlier, kind of backed by Peter Thiel throughout most of his career.
Yes.
That's the person who's put the most money in. J.D. Vance wrote the foreword for the Project 2025.
Good.
The individual that was just installed was a member of the Heritage Foundation, this 22-year-old kid that's going to be handling some new stuff.
Yes.
And so it just seems as though Elon Musk and Donald Trump have been playing these games behind the scenes and setting things up, but allowing something to go on behind the scenes. The friendship between Elon and Vance and Thiel and all of the tech bros and the younger sect of this, you know what I would almost call them? You have MAGA, but remember before MAGA there was neocons, neoconservatives. They were called the neocons there for a little while, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere came Trump running for president with Make America Great Again, and then it became MAGA stuff everywhere we turned. Libertarians were starting to catch on a little bit, and then neocons came out of nowhere because they were trying to find their next way to like transition to who they would become. They were Tea Party with Obama, and then they were this with this person, and they have to be all these things.
The neocons sort of turned into rhinos a little bit for the MAGA guys.
And I almost feel like in this situation, Jason, that's kind of where we are at with the current situation. Like the people that are like going to back Musk would be considered the neocons.
Yes.
And then the MAGAs would just be Trump's main supporters. Now, the majority of your MAGAs, though, are kind of a split mix. There is the older sect of Republicans and conservatives, like your Mitt Romneys and older people like that who have been around for years, that they seem to support the Republicans because of their stances historically, conservatively, as far as fiscal goes, right? Saving money, smaller government, less of this, less of that. These are things that Donald Trump said he wanted. These are things that Elon Musk said the reason Doge existed was to make things better, slimmer, faster, smaller, more controllable.
And then we were all going to be rich.
And we're all going to be rich. Are you rich?
I'm not.
I'm not rich.
You know what? It's gonna be interesting to see how Trump holds on to the tech bros and the Bitcoin guys, because that is that's his group.
How fast
that's
do you
his
think
MAGA.
they try to push him out? How fast do you think
I don't know.
they try to make a move to bump Trump out and install Vance as the dude, and then let Peter Thiel and Elon just kind of pull the puppet strings behind the scenes?
It's
there might be more puppeteers than Putin in the world, guys. That's what we're starting to learn. There are other people with money and oligarchs and power and this and that, and they like to pull puppet strings also. They don't just sit there and make fun of your wife and put it on state media and then just laugh in their big mansion in Russia. Like, that's not just that guy.
It's definitely going to be interesting.
I'm going to bring this up. I don't have anything for it, but that's okay. I saw it right before we hit the air. They're going to bring back Abrego Garcia. Abrego Garcia.
Abrego, yeah.
They're bringing him back.
About time.
They were able to work out a prisoner exchange, Jason, to an extent.
I don't even know why they need to do that.
And it's not even a prisoner exchange of prisoners. It's we have
send
more
down there.
No. This is great. You're going to love this one. We haven't even had a chance to talk about. Here, let me get my microphone like right where I need so I can talk to Jay.
All right.
Jay, I got to talk to you about this. This is fantastic. America, Just pay attention, watch along. You can put me on that camera over there. So we talked about El Salvador, and we talked about CCOT, and we talked about the president of El Salvador sitting in the Oval Office right there, right next to Trump. Trump asked him right to his face, can we get him back? And the guy goes, nope. And he goes, see, guys, I tried.
Yeah. Oh, sorry about that.
I tried. I did everything I possibly could. Now we have the fallout between Elon and Trump does not like that he's getting his name run through the streets right now. Literally run through the streets, Jason. And so because of that, right?
It's going to bring a guy back.
I'm going to find a way to try to switch up, spin the narrative, get some other story out there that everybody loves to talk about, right? And what do people love to talk about? This Garcia guy.
Yeah.
They couldn't stop talking about him. It wasn't about Garcia. It was about you, Trump. He's the guy who got suckered and then thrown into CCOT. It was always about you. And then that stupid decision to ask the guy, can we get him back? And no, and then go, I couldn't do anything. Your character as a human being, you're shit. It's nuts. It makes no sense. And Jason.
Yes.
Now they've decided that they want to issue an arrest warrant in the United States for Abrego Garcia. Because of that, the president of El Salvador said, okay, well, you guys can have him back then. No problem. So now they're going to fly him back to the United States. There it is. I've now gone on Occupy Democrats. I've told you all the news story that just popped today, literally right before we jumped on the air. There it is. Abrego's coming home to be arrested. Jason, I said on this specific show, the Occupy Democrats show, why don't you just bring him back to the United States? And if he's an illegal that you don't want here, then deport him then. Not send him to CCOT so he can get raped. No, let him get deported and sent out of the country like you do other deportees. Then he can just not be in jail, and then you can get what you want out of the situation. I don't want any of it. I think the guy's fine. He had a full-time job. He was working. His kids were fine. I don't think he needed to go to CCOT. I think he just needed to go to the local grocery store, grab a pack of cigarettes after you guys got around him.
I mean, he even has a court order that says he can't be sent to El Salvador.
Now he's coming back.
Like, let alone the prison. He just can't even go to the country.
Pam Bondi just announced they're bringing him back.
Look at her. Look at her doing her job. Pam
All right,
Bondi,
Metro,
great.
Could you please put up for me this Donald Trump Truth Social post of him talking trash on the New York Times, the failing New York Times and the Washington Compost.
Ooh, good one.
Compost.
He's so great.
Two papers that have ruthlessly fought me for years have each done polls where a vast majority of those sampled are Democrats. In other words, the polls, just like their writings, are rigged. It is not possible for a Republican to do well in such a poll. They are corrupt as hell. I'm sorry, guys. I know it sounds like I don't know how to read. It's because I have a very bright light shining at me, and I'm trying to read white. Never mind.
Well, that's also how he types.
Yeah, it is. Just like the election day 2024, where I won 7 out of 7 swing states, the popular vote and districts by 2,750 to 505. What?
Of course you did.
What are you talking about? Let's talk about this. Donald Trump lashed out on Truth Social. The post was rigged, corrupt as hell. And after they revealed his low approval ratings, you know, Jay, the Times reported that Trump's approval rating at 46%, with 50% disapproving, while a post-ABC News Ipsos poll showed 39% approval and 55% disapprove, with 44% strongly disapproving. Duh!
Yeah, that's what happens when you're terrible.
The New York Times writes that story before Elon Musk drops your bomb.
Yeah, it's going to get even lower now.
Do you understand? They're already saying that everything that was going on and the things you guys were saying to each other and the way Tesla was failing and the way things were going with Doge and how Kash Patel sounded stupid and how Kristi Noem looks like a cosplay idiot and all these things, they were saying at that time, oh, this is losing you fans. This is losing you a lot of fans. What do you think's going to happen now that your name's being drugged through the streets, bro?
I'm
just curious.
it's so exhausting. Don't you get tired, MAGA, of everything's rigged and everything's faked and everyone's lying?
It's all they have, though.
But it's so ridiculous. That can't be. Everything cannot be a lie. Everything cannot be fake.
But Jason, we talk about rich people like Donald Trump.
Yes.
And we talk about Nancy Pelosi. And we talk about Chuck Schumer. And we talk about people at the top of the food chain. The majority of the people we're talking to out there right now, you're not at the top of the food chain, and we're not knocking you for that. You're just normal Americans. That party that Elon wants to start, that 80% in the middle, that's you, a lot of you.
Join up, guys.
You're not rich. You don't have the same problems Trump and Elon have. So if I'm a Republican and that's my life and it's not going great, I don't like the job I have and things aren't easy and things don't seem like they're falling in place for me, something must be rigged against me.
There you go. I've got to blame others for my own shortcomings.
Jason, for years I talked in this town about my media career and how there was popularity there, but nobody in St. Louis ever really paid attention to anything. And it didn't make any sense to me. It made no sense because there was popularity there. There was a way to make money, and then people could make money. And they just would ignore and ignore and ignore. And I couldn't ever figure it out because they're all living their lives. You see what I'm saying? And at the same time that I'm living my life, I feel the game is being rigged against me. It really is being rigged against me. But I had to learn something. And that important thing that I had to learn, everybody, is that we are all very self-righteous individuals. We're very into ourselves and our own lives and the way that our lives work. We're not really worried about Mark's life from Jason, Jason's life to Mark, Metro's life. Like, everybody's worried about their life, and then all of this other stuff happens in and around that. Do you see what I'm saying? And so when you don't have a lot going on, you have to do that conspiratorial thing. You have to go, oh, well, I guess the game was rigged against me. And the reason I brought up my media career is this. I don't know if the game was truly rigged against me. I'm here now doing this at the top of the food chain, so I feel like I was right in my assumptions on what I said about my career and who I was as a person within the game. But at the same point, looking back on all those years, and we're talking 2 decades, guys, 20 years, could have been born and graduated high school and all of that time. Like every memory, every Christmas, every birthday, 20 years, no opportunities. It just seemed like the game was rigged against me. Now, if I went to any of those companies today and asked them, was the game rigged against me? What would they say?
I would hope they'd say no.
Nope, they'd say no. Because the people at the top of those food chains that run those companies, some are the same, some are different. Some are going to be like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, nothing was rigged against you. There's nobody that even knew who you were and this, that, and the other. It's like, okay, so hey, guy who does roofing or guy that works on the road crew or person who works as a bank teller at the bank or whatever, like, game's not rigged. People are just into their own world. And we have to break them out of that sometimes. It's tough. And so those conspiracy, those become things, Jason.
And it was just ridiculous because you don't hear that from George Bush. You don't hear that from Barack Obama. None of them ever say anything's against me. It's rigged. It's fake. It's all that. It's only him. He's the only one.
Money? But okay, I was going to say, is it the money that keeps it from saying that their game's rigged again? Once you get the money in your bank account, right? You don't ever have to have a job technically ever again, right? If you get $5 million put in your bank account tomorrow, Jason, you don't technically need to have a job anymore in life. Technically.
Maybe. Like,
you should be able to live.
You would hope so.
Off of $5 million in Missouri.
Yeah, you would hope so.
Pretty easily over the next 50 years.
Yeah,
you would think that you could pull that off. But not everybody can play that game that way.
That's true.
Not everybody works that way. And not everybody's got $5 million at the same point. If you've got money, right, you're not worried about the conspiracy side of things because you've got money, right? You don't have to worry about all the meanderings and all the BS that they talk about and like all that. Like, you don't have to care about it at all. All you've got to do is live your life every day, spend your money that you got.
Yeah.
You don't have to focus on anything. They have to focus. They have no money. But then it's Trump. See, that's where this whole kicker is. He's got money. He shouldn't care.
He just blames.
Where's the conspiracies then? You're just making things up at that point.
He just blames. He can. It's a weird. He can never be wrong, ever. He can never not have something go his way, something he thought of. Just sometimes things just don't work. You had a great plan, you had everything in place, it just didn't work. But he can't have that. It's exhausting to live his life like that. I don't know how you could do that every day of your life and
now,
be that way.
Jason, I know we have to be getting close to the end of the show. We have to be getting closer. I want to bring this up. This is a tweet from a gentleman by the name of Peter Schiff.
Yes.
And this is a tweet about pedophiles.
Ooh, fun.
That I need you to take a read on. And I don't know if you've seen this, Jay, because I know we talk, and I know we send things to each other fast all the time. But I don't know if you've seen this. Peter Schiff at the top here put this out shortly after the Epstein bomb drops from Elon Musk. And what Peter Schiff says is, for your information, pedophiles are attracted to prepubescent boys and girls. I'm not defending Epstein, but he had sex with teenage girls, 14 to 17, that had physically developed sexually. They were underage, so criminal and immoral, but that does not make him a pedophile.
Criminal and immoral, but I'm going to make some distinction here for everyone. What a ridiculous comment. What a psychopath.
These are the people that defend Donald Trump,
yeah, you should,
Jeffrey Epstein, Elon Musk. I mean, right here.
You should go do that at work.
Right here. Look at this.
You should defend people like that at work. See how
now,
that goes for you.
The best is the guy underneath it, this Justin Redwine guy.
Yeah.
I love how he comes in out of nowhere with, no. Absolutely not. No. And anyone that has ever had a teenage daughter 100% knows it. Just no. It reminds me of when John Oliver tears into somebody at the end of one of his little clips. Like this person just goes, no. Absolutely not. Like John Oliver would. Then Peter Schiff comes back to say, over here? You're right here. We're going to put it right there.
He is.
I wouldn't want somebody older. I wouldn't want some older guy having sex with my teenage daughter either.
You think?
But a pedophile would have sex with my 8-year-old daughter. Both are wrong, but not the same.
What?
I have a teenage daughter. Jay, you got a teenage daughter?
I do. Keep
Neither
away from
one
this
of us
guy.
read anything that Peter Schiff wrote there as liberals and moderates and Democrats at all
No.
and go, oh, that sounds normal.
Yeah, that's perfectly okay.
That sounds like something you should put out to the public.
All right. Well, at least he's not a pedophile.
418,000 people should read that today.
That's nuts.
On Twitter. Now, at one point in history, ladies and gentlemen, Twitter was controlled by Jack.
Yeah.
Jack from St. Louis, Missouri, where this Occupy Democrat show comes from.
It.
Same place. That's where Twitter started.
You know what?
Well, here in San Francisco. But you know my point. My point is that shouldn't be on Twitter.
No.
That is horrible.
We shouldn't end on that guy. We need to. We should fit in
we're
one
not going
more.
to end on that
okay,
guy.
I don't want to end on that guy. That guy doesn't get the last word.
What do you got? You got something different?
Meteorologist John Morales. Did you see him?
Give me meteorologist John Morales for our last story on the show.
Go ahead and throw that up real quick.
Hit me with meteorologist.
And as you've grown accustomed to my presentations over my 34 years in South Florida newscasts, confidently, I went on TV and I told you, it's going to turn. You don't need to worry. It is going to turn. And I am here to tell you that I am not sure I can do that this year because of the gutting, the sledgehammer attack on science in general, and I could talk about that for a long, long time, and how that is affecting the U.S. Leadership in science over many years, and how we're losing that leadership, and this is a multi-generational impact on science in this country, all right? But specifically, let's talk about the federal government cuts to the National Weather Service and to NOAA. Did you know that Central and South Florida National Weather Service offices are currently basically 20 to 40% understaffed? From Tampa to Key West, including the Miami office, 20 to 40% understaffed. Now, this type of staffing shortage is having impacts across the nation because there's been a nearly 20% reduction in weather balloon launches that carry those radiosondes. And what we're starting to see is that the quality of the forecasts is becoming degraded. There's also a chance, because of some of these cuts, that NOAA Hurricane Hunter aircraft will not be able to fly this year, and with less reconnaissance missions, we may be flying blind, and we may not exactly know how strong a hurricane is before it reaches the coastline, like happened a couple of years ago in Hurricane Otis in Acapulco, Mexico. So I was asked to talk about this today. I'm glad I was. I just want you to know that what you need to do is call your representatives and make sure.
You can talk about that. So that's John Morales. He's a veteran hurricane specialist at NBC6 in South Florida. You might remember him back in October. I don't have the video for that, but he became emotional on the air talking about Hurricane Milton and the destruction it has. This guy cares. This guy is not a partisan. He's a scientist. He's a meteorologist. He later explained in the New York Times that his reaction for the previous one in October was driven by the severity of the storm and the broader implications of climate change. It brought him to near tears. So earlier this week, that's when he did that, and he used his platform to warn the viewers about what he just said. The National Weather Service and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration will not be able to adequately tell you when a hurricane is coming, when it's going to come to land, how strong it might be. That matters, people. It matters.
What is your problem with science? Trump, what's your problem with science? Let me explain. Airplanes. They take you to Acapulco, New Mexico, so that you can have your trip. Cancun, Vegas, Europe, right? She wants to go on that famous Europe trip. She wants to.
Yes.
She wants to do it just like the. What was the name of the family in a European vacation? Right?
Oh, the Griswolds.
The Griswolds.
Yeah.
They want to do the Griswolds thing. Science is what got you airplanes that can fly you places. Science is what gets you meteorological information so that, I don't know, St. Louis, tornado sirens can go off. You know, he said in that clip, Jason, that there is a 20 to 40% staffing issue in Florida alone, but this is going across the entire country. Now imagine in St. Louis, if they are staffed at the National Weather Alliance or Service or whatever it's called, 20 to 40% less than they typically have. You're firing people because they didn't press buttons for sirens. But how are they going to know? Because the people that typically tell them, hey, there's a large wave of tornadoes that are truly coming through this area, they have less technology and science to work with so that you can find that out, so that you can get home and be safe.
I would be curious to know, does MAGA, are they okay with degraded weather?
Yeah, what about that? What about degraded health care? Degraded weather, degraded health care, degraded roads. Remember, Joe Biden, he did your infrastructure bill. He built up those roads so they could fill those damn potholes now that the winter's over wherever you're living. But they haven't yet, have they? Because Donald Trump and these idiots cut a bunch of crap behind the scenes in this bill and in other places with Doge and other things. The stuff he's talking about in that clip.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, we're less than 2 months away from the first round of hurricane season in Florida. So there's a lot of Trump voters down there that are not going to have all the information they need. They're going to have a degraded weather forecast, and it's all because of Donald Trump.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I feel, what was that gentleman's name again?
John Morales.
John Morales.
Yes.
Thank you so much for that.
I don't know. I don't know how he votes.
I want to sit there and say something nice, and I put that out there. You know what I'm saying to Mr. Morales.
Yes, yes.
But at the same point, I feel for him. I feel for all these people.
Yeah,
I feel the fact that they have to go out and do this at all.
Trying to do his job with less tools in the toolbox.
Guys, we're trying to do our jobs with less tools in the toolbox all the time. Everybody is. That's why we want better things for ourselves, better everything, right? Netflix and chill is way, way more fun than the 1860s. Trust me, it's a lot more fun than being 14, grabbing a gun and maybe dying that day.
Maybe.
In the middle of a field right by your house.
Yeah.
Because you have to fight because of guys like Donald Trump existing in our world. And then guys like Donald Trump existing in our world and seceding from the Union. And then calling themselves the Cornerstone Speech. And then becoming the head of the Confederacy. And then starting a civil war and saying people of color need to be held against their will. Focusing on people of color specifically as a president of an area? Where have we seen this before? Where, Jason?
No, it's South.
America.
Yeah, our South.
We've seen it here. I'm sorry. We don't need any of this anymore. We can just Netflix and chill. Let the drones handle the fighting.
There you go.
Listen, Zelensky figured it out. He's not dealing with Trump no more. He's taking things in on his own accord.
Turns out you can fight with European drones.
Yeah, you can just do things with the weaponry over there. The United States has a big lake around it. They call it the ocean. We have 2 oceans. Nobody has to get to us or see us or talk to us. They don't have to care about us. So being an isolationist, we're already there. You're just an a-hole. And I don't understand. But I can tell you this. We are at the end of this show, Jason.
Unfortunately.
And I want to say this. I'm happy that Elon Musk is leaving. I'm happy that Elon Musk and Trump are not being friends right now. I'm happy that all of this is done.
I like when bad things happen to bad people.
Do I believe it's over? Nope, not for a second.
No.
I'll leave you with this note. Elon Musk, like I said earlier, too many government contracts still up in the air. He still has to work with NASA pretty closely on a lot of rocket stuff, FAA, all kinds of people.
When that first contract gets taken away,
You think
when
that's
it gets
it?
canceled, we're gonna see what happens.
You really think that you think he's gonna like? He just said he dropped the bomb. There's a bigger bomb. Like I said, it was he rigged the election. Could be the biggest bomb, but like
I guess the only problem is the people he could tell are nothing but Trump loyalists. So I don't know where he would go to drop the bomb that they rigged the election, because Pam Body's not going to care. But I think we might find out other things that don't directly implicate Musk that he might know about.
As of today, conservatives, you're a bunch of dummies. That's it. Your boyfriends are broken up. Things are not going the way you thought they were. And no, they aren't the smartest, sleekest, scientific, smart dudes in the room. They don't even like each other. They're pedophiles. They know it. They tell each other that they're pedophiles. They know that each other are pedophiles. They work with each other and fund them while they're each doing these things. Alleged
Yes.
pedophiles.
Well, then they get people to show up and defend them, like Peter Schiff.
Yeah, like that. We don't need it. We're going to take the weekend and relax. We're going to enjoy a mimosa or something. I don't know. We're going to just have a good time. But this show's over. I'm Mark Bland. You can follow me at Mark Bland on any of our social medias for Twitter, and you can follow me anywhere online at Mark Bland.
Yeah.
That's Jay over there.
Jason Cole. You can follow me at Featherbangs on Twitter or Jason Cole on other media.
That's right. And talk to us, guys. Ask us questions.
Yeah,
if you
go
got
ahead.
anything you
I'll
want
talk
to
to you. I
say,
don't care.
we'll talk to you. We'll have conversations. Hey, do you want to get interviewed here on Occupy Democrats? Are you a Republican? Are you a Republican in the state of Missouri who's running for office? Let me know. Let Jay know. We'll talk to you. We'd love to talk to you. We'd love to see what's going on here. And, senators, Congress people, we're down for all of it. We're trying to get anyone who wants to come on the show. Anyone at all.
I would take that.
We'll take anyone. Listen, Republican who wants to come on the show, come on through. We'll sit here and talk to you.
Yes, of course.
We'll discuss things with you because we want to hear what you guys have to say. We want to hear how this goes. So also make sure you guys follow us at Occupy Democrats on all of our social media handles, on all of our social media platforms. That's where you can find out the newest, latest, greatest information from us at Occupy Democrats. That's going to do it for us on this episode of the Occupy Democrats show, guys. We'll see you guys next time.